can find you that way, and you continue to build your network. Direct message, not really used that often anymore, right?
Yeah, it's kind of fallen off.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could send an email if you want to, but more often than not, most of the Twitter conversations are in public anyway, so direct message is just a private message. Hashtag, this is something where you'll see these at the end of a lot of comments or messages. This is just something that might be trending, something that makes it a lot easier to find it. So if a lot of people are talking about a certain topic like the World Series, then there'll be a hashtag that'll be about the World Series, and everybody can find that information from there.
Yeah. People also use hashtags to add emphasis to their tweets. So if you think something is really great, you might tweet, "Hey, I just saw this great restaurant yesterday. We checked it out," and then hashtag awesomeness or great food, and then people search for great food and they'll find your restaurant.
Okay, so this is a really good resource, I think, when you're just getting started. This is business.twitter.com. It's got a nice 101 guide, teaches you how to get started, goes over a lot of the stuff that we just talked about, but then it's also got some really good case studies. And one of those case studies that I really thought was good, especially for small businesses, is this one called Coffee Grounds. And basically, this is a coffee shop, an independent coffee shop that's based in Houston, Texas. And, you know, they started using Twitter. They really didn't know what they were doing. They started talking with their customers, build up a following. They would put out different specials, and they actually, what Twitter assumes is that they took the first ever order via Twitter, which is pretty cool. Somebody was following them. He was running late in traffic. He wanted to place an order, asked, "Hey, can I place an order for a breakfast wrap?" Coffee Ground said, "Yeah, I guess we can do that." And what they did is they're basically using Twitter the same as a phone. And like we talked about before, it's just another form of communication. So is this something that your company can do? It's possible. Is it something I recommend at least taking a look at? I think so. I think that Twitter is not a fad. Maybe a year ago we could have still been a little bit indecisive, but I think that this is something that works really, really well. If you build up a following, this is something, it's just another way to communicate, just like if you're in the old days maybe did an email newsletter or something like that, which is still a really good idea, but this is just kind of the next step in that evolution. So
Absolutely.
So getting into some of the other topics here, next we're going to talk about LinkedIn, and that brings us to our next poll. And we just want to know if you currently have a LinkedIn profile. Do you have a personal page or a company page or both? We actually left off no. It's my bad. Sorry about that. But we'll take a look. It looks like a lot of you have a personal page. And go ahead and let that run out for a couple more seconds here. Okay, so taking a look at the poll now. Looks like a lot of you have a personal page. Not as many have a company page, and a few of you have have both pages. So that's kind of what we thought. I mean, LinkedIn. Taking a look at this slide here, it's basically just a more professional social network where you look at Twitter and Facebook. More often than not, it's for personal use, I would say. Yeah, some companies have been using it effectively, but LinkedIn is really just more or less for professionals. And it does have a lot of users, over 80 million in 200 countries. You can create a personal profile, like most of you already have. Has your basic info, photo, background. The most important thing that I think people don't take advantage of is getting recommendations from partners, coworkers, clients, anyone you've worked with in the past. What will happen is if I'm looking to do business with you and I do a search, if I see your name come up and there's no recommendations there, I like the fact that you have a LinkedIn profile, and that's nice. But if you have maybe 5 or 10 recommendations from someone, from different partners that you worked with, and they're saying nice things about you, it just adds more relevance. It adds more trust all of a sudden that I have in you, and that we can work together. So I think that's really important, and it's really easy to do. Just get out there and ask for recommendations, and we'll kind of show you how you can actually do that. Sending messages, updating your status, sharing interesting stories, these are all things you can use it for also. If you create a company page, company pages are typically pretty simple. They're just going to have an overview about your organization. They're going to look at some key statistics like number of employees, location, etc. And then also any of your company employees, they'll also be listed on your company overview. So if someone's doing business with your company, they can go to your company page and they can see some other people that they might not have linked in with before. And all this does is it builds this huge network that you have, and it lets more people know about your company and your organization. I think the most underutilized tool is the answering. LinkedIn Answers, which is where you can actually go in and you can answer a question that people are asking to showcase your experience. We'll take a look at an actual example of LinkedIn here. So you can see this is the general overview, and this is basically my profile. So this is some basic information about what I've done in the past. You can see here I've got 10 recommendations. Here's the number of my connections. I've got my company website linked here. And when you scroll down, I can also share some presentations that I've done. There's also all these little widgets, all these plugins that you can use on LinkedIn, which I don't think a lot of people utilize. But this is one called Slideshare. If you do a really good presentation, you want to post it up there, people can click through it and take a look at it. This is one where it's called Trip It. I like this a lot because I travel back and forth to Germany pretty often. So what I'll do is I'll put that in, and then people can see if I'm going to be in a certain town on a certain day. They can meet up with me, and then maybe we can go grab lunch or have a meeting or something. So this is kind of the basic profile here, but you can also go in and do a search for different questions that people are asking. So let's say I'm an expert in social media. I want to take a look at some social media questions that have been asked, and you can go in here and you can do a search, and you can take a look at some of the open questions, things that people are currently looking for answers. And what it's going to normally do is it's going to move the questions up for people that are in your network or close to your network. But if you go in and you do a search every once in a while, what you'll see is social media marketing, in-house or outsource. Okay, this is something that maybe you have some experience with. You can go in and you can answer this question. Then all of a sudden, anybody who ever answered this question or is looking at this question sees you as an expert. They're seeing you as someone who knows a lot about this topic. It's another way to build up your network. It's another way to get your name out there. And what also happens is you can get what's called the best answer. If you get the best answer, it's basically the person who asked the question gave you a vote of confidence there. And if you have all these things, it's kind of like a recommendation. It just shows you as more of an expert. It shows you as a resource or that people could utilize. So I think this is really important to use, and you can use it for your personal account. And for people that are sole proprietors, I think this is going to be really, really helpful. This is a look at the company page. This is the one-on-one company page. You can follow the company, which basically if they put up different information or things like that, you can take a look and see all the new information that they're putting up there. You get some quick information about how you're connected to that organization. You can see people that are in your network, people that have recently been hired, all the employees. You can go through and take a look at them. So it's pretty interesting. I think it's important as a company that you open this up, because the more opportunity you give someone to find your organization, the more likely it is they're going to find it. So if you take control of your LinkedIn page, if you take control of your Google local pages, things like that, and you're managing them and you're active on them, it's just more of an opportunity for you to meet people and more of an opportunity for people to find you. So getting pretty close here. I'm going to go through a couple of these other ones, which I thought would be really good for smaller businesses, brick and mortar shops, basically, people that have a physical presence. This one is Yelp, and Yelp is basically a listing of user reviews and recommendations. A lot of people use Yelp. 38 million people used it in August to make spending decisions, and this could be from anything, whether they're looking for a service like a dry cleaner or an advertising agency, or if they're looking for somewhere to go and eat. What you can do is you can actually take control of your business listing, and Yelp makes this really easy. You can take control of your business listing, then you can start communicating with your customers, get some good analytics on how people are viewing your page. You can also add photos and detailed descriptions to really make your business something where people want to come to. This is something where you're going to help sell your business to people who are on the road and might be looking at it at like a mobile application, something like that. So what you want to do is, see here, we'll take a look at it, and It's yelp.com/business, and I think it's actually the regular one is just biz.yelp.com, which is biz.yelp.com, and it gives you all these really great guides on how you can go through and you can access your business account, what you can do with it, how you can use Yelp, and I think some of the great things that you could do. You can see here using Yelp for business owners, get these great analytics here. You can also put out offers, which is great. So if someone like more often than not, what I'll do is if I'm in a new town and I don't know what's going on, or if I'm just lacking for an idea to grab some food, I'll pull up my iPhone, open up my Yelp application. I can see all the restaurants that are around me. If someone has a special offer for Yelp users, that's probably somewhere that I'm going to go. I mean, if somebody has, you get a free side order of fries or something like that with any order.
Yeah, absolutely, Aaron. I do the same thing. And a lot of times I've found that searching Yelp is even faster sometimes on my phone than doing a regular Google search.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, this I think Google's okay. I think sometimes you have to go a couple clicks down, but this is just really easy to use. More and more people are using it, and it's something that I think business owners should really take advantage of. And you can take a look here at the different analytics that you can use, but you can see what your listing is going to look like. People are going to write reviews about you. And if someone writes an unflattering review, you can actually go and talk to them and say, hey, what happened? What can we do to help rectify this? And sometimes, you'll turn people around that might have been a little bit upset at first, and then all of a sudden you've got a fan because you actually reached out to them on their turf. This is something where you're going out, and I think that's the other scary thing about social media that companies are worried about, is that they're worried about getting onto, getting like down into the nitty gritty, getting onto the people's areas where they might be a little bit less comfortable, and it has the customer in mind.
Yes, especially because people are definitely more likely to comment and give bad reviews than good reviews, as you know, if you're a business owner.
Yeah,
that's just a common thing. But it's great that this is a way for you to see that and then have a way to interact with that person. Ask them what happened, what's going on, and what can we do to cheer you up. And sometimes it's really great, and they're happy to hear from you. Again, back to just another way to communicate with your customers.
Yeah, so I think it would be good. Just go check it out. Like we said, unlock your page, and then you can start, working on taking control of everything. This, I think, is probably the biggest move in social media this past year has been location-based services, and this is literally where you'll have a social networking site that's based off of your mobile phone. So I'll have an application on my iPhone called Foursquare. I'll go to, say, a pizza place in the area, and I'll click on, check in. And basically, this is going to allow me to check in at a certain location using a mobile website. You can do it via text message also, or like I said, for an application. It's only got 4 million users, but it's growing really quickly. As we showed earlier on in the presentation, it's gotten 1 million users in the past 50 days. So this is something that I think you can kind of get in on the ground floor while it's still growing, and it's a really passionate fan base. I know me, I check in just about everywhere I go. And this is similar to Yelp, where you can take control of your listing, or you can just create one. If it currently doesn't exist, you can create specials when people check in, or if you have what's called mayors, these are people who have checked in the most. They become mayor of your establishment. They're there most often on this social network. You can promote specials in your store also by having that little circle that we have here. It says Foursquare check-in here. This is like a sticker basically that you can put in your window, and it just prompts people to let you know that you support Foursquare and that they can also come in and check in and maybe win some cool prizes. Real-time venue statistics also, you're going to get some great analytics from them, and then you can also go in and you can just complete your listing, make it a little bit more full, add some information to it. So how does it benefit you? Basically, if I go and check in at your store and I send it to my Facebook and Twitter followers, all of a sudden I have 350 Facebook friends that have seen that I checked in there. They can also click on that link and then go check out your listing and see what you're all about. Same thing with Twitter. I have 200 Twitter followers. They can go and find your store, and so you're advertising to all these different people. They check out your listing. It's basically just free advertising. Here's a look at what Foursquare looks like. This is the actual website. It's foursquare.com/businesses. And we'll also send this out to you in the email afterwards. But this kind of gets into what you can do. You can see there's some really great specials here, and they help you. They give you ideas of what you can do for